This is Taiwan Talk.
This is Taiwan Talk on ICRT.
I'm Eric Smith, and thanks for joining me on Taiwan Talk. Over the last decade or so, a growing number of overseas entrepreneurs have arrived in Taiwan to set up small or mid-sized companies. One such firm is the Beck Consulting Group, a company offering business training solutions. I recently sat down with Beck's Chief Executive Officer, Jesse Arlen Smith, who told me about the challenges of setting up his company nearly 10 years ago.
Taiwan is an absolutely amazing place. The people here are wonderful. The food is amazing. And, you know, it is a place where you can honestly fall in love with. Now, business-wise, Taiwan maybe isn't the fastest growing city or country. It is a place that likes to enjoy what they have, and I think the vast majority of the businesses here are content with the status quo. Now, to just fast forward a little bit, we run a consulting and coaching company here in Taiwan, and we have done for many years. We've helped some of the Taiwan's largest companies and multinationals increase their business performance. And what is that? Well, we've done a lot of different things to help them, from helping them with their English training to their accountability and leadership. Now, why would a business choose us as a consulting company to come in and help? Well, we know Taiwan culture. We understand what it is with regards to the cultural high context culture that Taiwan is. I mean, it is Chinese, but it isn't China.
It's special. Yeah,
absolutely, it's special. And it took a while to understand that, and being one of the first to kind of start up a small consultancy here. It wasn't easy.
Actually, I wanted to ask you about that. How hard was it to set yourselves up in the beginning? And have the regulations changed in recent years to make it easier for other people who want to, start a company and do something interesting?
Yeah, absolutely, Eric. Things were not easy in the beginning, and that was part of the excitement, part of the fun. Things were difficult in the beginning. There was no box, for example, for a small consultancy. And when I say there's no box, it means there was no box to check. So we had to, fall under a different category. And when we went to ask the government, is this okay? Because they said, well, it's gray. And said, well, what you're doing is really great, and I'm sorry that there isn't a particular box to say that this is a small consulting company. Basically, in the beginning, if you were a foreign company, you were
trading company.
Absolutely, you were a trading company, and you made a lot of revenue. Maybe your margins weren't that high, or you were a multinational who had a branch here, or you were a bushy band. Or for those who don't know what that is, that they are a language training school. So if you didn't fall under one of those, you didn't exist. And so it was very difficult for many years, and to get recognized for what we did and what we do, it was a uphill battle. Now, we did that slowly, one client at a time.
How hard is it to convince the HR or human resources department or the manager or the CEO of a company that they need this kind of attention and assistance?
Sure. I mean, anytime you get into an industry where there's a lot of education of the market, you're walking into a difficult situation. After being an entrepreneur for so long, I try and stay away from the types of businesses where you have to educate a market, because educating a market costs money. Whenever you have to educate a market, you either need to go in and do direct person-to-person sales, which is usually the most effective, or you have to take a wider approach and do targeted advertisements, and try and really convince these particular decision makers that your product is something that they need.
But you've seen an improvement over the years in Taiwanese companies understanding that this would be something useful.
Sure. I mean, we've also adapted to what their understanding of useful is. Mm-hmm. I mean, in the beginning, we would go in with very complicated products, and we would explain all these different solutions that we could give them, and it was a little bit difficult to convince them, that they needed these things. And then we pivoted, as they say in the entrepreneurial world, and we kind of looked where the demand was and started to tailor some of our products and services and write textbooks and develop solutions that we knew there was a demand for.
Tune in tomorrow for some free business consulting advice from Beck Consulting Group, specifically on how managers can identify and assist disengaged employees. Thanks for listening. I'm Eric Smith, reporting for ICRT's Taiwan Talk.
This is Taiwan Talk.
This is Taiwan Talk on ICRT.
I'm Eric Smith, and you're listening to Taiwan Talk. In yesterday's program, I spoke with Jesse Arlen Smith, the CEO of Beck Consulting Group, about what it was like to set up his company. In today's show, we're getting some free business consulting advice from the Beck Consulting Group about 3 steps managers can take to ensure their workers are fully engaged.
A disengaged employee is very dangerous. A disengaged employee will cost a company a lot. When an employee, for example, if an employee is disengaged to a certain point and leaves, you have to replace that employee, which is very expensive. If an employee is disengaged but doesn't quit, that means they are, ruining the corporate, culture, and it's very difficult to find these employees. Sometimes they can be hidden within the organization.
Is it also infectious?
Yeah, I mean, a disengaged employee can have an infectious, effect on the corporate culture, like I just said. And so you got to be really careful of about identifying the right people and then using the right techniques. We've developed a 3-step process. First, listen and learn. Find out. Go beyond the employee survey and find out exactly what is motivating. Yeah, what are the motivators? What are the drivers for these employees? And find out what really satisfied them. And then once you have that information, you can use it, and you use that information in your everyday interactions. Now that's a key point, everyday interactions. So every interaction with an employee is an opportunity. Most managers are, a little bit, busy, or it's engagement coaching seems like something coming from HR. It's like this extra thing. And they say, well, okay, now today I'll do that satisfaction thing. Well, that's not how it works.
It's like being a parent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every single day you are offering guidance and suggestions and praise, and it's engagement, as you say.
Yes, and that's why we call it engagement coaching. Mm-hmm. It's every day. It's every interaction, and it's got to be smart. It's got to be targeted. You can't go in with an engagement coaching strategy for all your employees. Every individual requires a different strategy. Now, is this easy? No. That's where we come in. We're engagement coaches. We help them. We give them suggestions, and we support the manager in helping them to implement these solutions. And now the 3rd step is showing the way. We say show the way, direct and drive. And the 3rd step is, you point the employees in the right direction. And you can think of them as like spinning a top. You get them wound up, you spin the top, and they're going, and they're going, but they're going to stop. So you got to spin the top again. Now, the key is to try and get them to spin themselves, to motivate themselves to be, because coming back to the original question, whose responsibility is? Well, the manager can take some responsibility, but it's got to be the employee's responsibility too. So, you got to work together in those conversations. But a real important factor to success is this last one, this direction. Now, okay, you're engaged. I say, so what? Well, you need a place to go, and usually, the place isn't the big, hairy, audacious goals. It's not the corporate vision. That's not the job of most managers. It's the small things. It's where are we going to be in 3 months? It's where are we going to be in a week? And how do I fit into that as the employee? And it could just be a vision of, the week. It could be a vision of the department. And, a lot of times managers make the mistake of going outside their area of expertise or sphere of influence, and they're not there to create the corporate vision. They're there, normally just to, create the vision of what a successful department looks like. How could we be the best auditors in Taiwan, for example? And if you scale it down, you make it realistic, and you keep the time frame realistic, then it can really be powerful to this 3-step process. So, 1, understand the mind. Listen and learn to your employees. And 2, support the heart, engage and encourage them. And 3, direct and drive. Show them the way. Find a direction that you want to go in, and go together in creating. Tell them basically where they can be or where the company can be in, say, 3 months. Now, if you follow those 3 steps, I think you can improve the engagement in your company.
Well, Jesse, I want to thank you very much for some free consulting advice, and all of our listeners appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
You're very welcome.
Thanks for listening to Taiwan Talk. More info on Beck is available at www.becc.tw. And please note that all Taiwan Talk episodes are available as podcasts on iTunes or www.icrt.com.tw. Reporting for ICRT, I'm Eric Smith.